white model?
Yes.
In
And then
2
I
years?
left the whole business.
And you left?
Yeah. And then
For
I
how
came
long?
back. I went to Europe for about a year.
A year. And you came back?
Yeah, and then I came back and I said,
your
okay, I'll start
roots.
doing hair. And then I would go back every year to do the collections. And then they wanted to cut my hair off. And I said, I am not cutting this Indian hair off. No way. This Mexican Indian is going to keep his hair. So my advice to anybody out there, you got long hair and they tell you you're getting too old or whatever, keep your hair. Let it be your glory.
So you are relentless.
Yes, I actually am. I think I really understand what it's about. And, I still have a lot to learn. I mean, this is just the beginning of my chapter. So I'm just always thinking to move forward.
So you brought money from Europe as a model, and you invested in a new salon for you?
No, I actually would work at different people's salons, but they always threw me out because I had too big of a clientele.
So when did you start your own business?
Well, I was talking to one of my clients, and I said, listen, I have a vision to make a hair care product line. And they were like, there's so many hair care lines out there. What makes you think yours is going to work? And I said, because I believe in what I'm doing. I'm a master stylist. I love what I do. I love and understand women. I love to see women look pretty. And, having 4 sisters, you learn a lot about women real quick. So what I did is I just talked to him about it. I invested the equal amount of money as he did, and I came up with this line. Because what I realized in hair care, there's a lot of products out there, but I was using a product from this line, a product from that company, and a product from L'Oreal, and this and that, Procter & Gamble. And I said to myself, wait a minute, I just need to create the perfect hairspray, the perfect shampoo and conditioner, the perfect set of rollers that you need, the perfect styling gel, and I put it in a kit. And what had happened is Avon was getting ready to buy my company. They just loved this idea of having a Latino be on the market. That deal fell through. They took me right to QVC, and I went on air. I sold out in 2 minutes.
Okay, but you are running too fast. Now I have to ask you something. So you decided to launch your own line.
Hair care line, right?
Hair care. So, but that's easy said, but it's very difficult to implement. So how do you go? You had an idea.
Nothing is difficult.
Yeah, but it's a formula. How do you go? Walk me through.
It's very simple. You go to a house that makes the products, and then I added my ancient tradition and modern technology. My grandmother is a Native American Indian. She's Cochin, and my dad's got part Yaqui Indian. So what I did is I just remembered all those ingredients my grandmother talked about: the aloe vera, the chamomile, the indigenous tree of the Southwest, the velvet mesquite tree. And so I just incorporated that into my shampoos and conditioners. One thing for sure is they actually work.
So did you go to
the
a
chemist.
lab, to a chemist,
Yeah.
and you told him, I want this, and
Yeah,
this?
add this, and that. And what they do is they have these homes where they make all the product, and then, they have the formulation, just a regular formulation. But it's what you add to it to make it become so great. And, and being a hairdresser, what you find out is you really start understanding the scalp. And one of the biggest problems is people don't know how to wash their hair or clean their scalp. And then they use too much product. A lot of products are hope in the bottle for women. I love to teach them, talk to them about the products when I sell on QVC. So when I went to going back to this home, the place where Aware Products, where I had my products made, they were just like, wow, this makes a lot of sense, what you're talking about. But I knew that was going to happen, and I knew that they were going to work, and I was blessed.
So you had the product, the content, let's say.
Right.
And then what about the bottle, the design, the label, and all that stuff?
Came up with that myself. I used to paint when I was a kid.
So you did it all yourself?
Yeah.
And
this is when you have passion.
Did you test it? Did you test the product?
I tested it on all my clients. So when I came back from Europe for modeling, I built up a clientele. And a few years later is when I started creating my own product line. I knew what was missing in the market. That's another thing is, we're just reinventing the wheel. All you have to do is put your little thing on it. And I put my little Mexican thing on it. And that's what made this happen. So I knew what hair was missing. I knew that hair needed shine. I knew that most of the women out there are over-bleaching, over-coloring their hair. So you need hydration, moisturization. I think what it all came down to is, what is the common sense approach to making something work?
Now, talking about that, I mean, you're an artist, I can see. But there is also a business side of any project. So how did you go into the business side? Because you have to analyze costs, distribution, all that stuff. How do you...
Well, I have a business partner. He's a lawyer. So the other thing that I would like to tell anybody out there, when you're starting your journey and you're doing what you're doing, really know what you're talking about, find out all the information you can, and make sure the person that is going to be your partner knows something more than you know. Because the only way you're going to learn in life is to be around people that know things that you don't know, because they will help educate you. I had some common sense from watching my father. I really understood a little bit about business. You know, he knew, being a lawyer, dot the I's, cross the T's, and, you know, cost... you know, how much something would cost out and how much it was going to, the cogs were going to be. And we did the MSD sheets, you know, so they make sure the ingredients are correct and blah, 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 and so on. But when you're starting a business, it's so important to know all of that. And there's so much information out there. Learn as much as you can. And that's what was so great. So my business partner, Ken Browning, was a lawyer, and so we decided to create this company, and it just happened. But we worked very hard. It was just him and I when we started.
So when did you realize that your hair product was going to work and be successful? Was a particular moment?
Yes, I was on QVC. I broke the record. I was sold out 2,500 pieces.
So they call you, or you look for it?
Well, I went to QVC and they saw a video of me and they go, "Oh my gosh, we like this guy. We love this Latino." And so I went there and I went on air and I sold out in 2 minutes and like 40 seconds or something like that immediately. And they knew they had a home run. I knew I had a home run. I actually cried. It was one of those moments of feeling so good, you know. And it goes back to, like, the inspirational part of me is, like, I had to learn, and we have to all learn. You have to love and approve of yourself. If you love and approve of yourself, you are fearless. You can go out there. You can make a difference. You can make it, whatever it is, be a success.
So did you cry alone, or were you on...
Oh, I'm not shy. I cried in front of everybody. Tears started running down my eyes after I got off air, and I just called my mother and my dad first thing, and I did it. And my mom goes, "We watched you."
I
Yes,
kind of
mijo.
have a sense what you are... I mean, what's the quality that actually took you to where you are, but I would like you to tell me what or which one do you think is the quality, the most important quality in you that was that enabled to that made you being successful?
Probably being open-minded. Really just being open-minded and not to have fear. You know, fear is one of those ugly dragons that will come and snatch you up. You just have to let that go. And, you know, my whole life hasn't been like a bed of roses. You know, I've had some bumpy roads that I had to travel on. And many times I just traveled on the freeway of love. And it just worked. Love heals all. When you coming from a loving place, you know, things happen for you. Magic happens with you. And one of the most important things is I had the Lord with me all the time through prayer. You know how Latinos are. These la corazón, it's our heart. It's our soul. So I knew then, right then and there, when it was like a validation when I sold out. And I just knew that, okay, you're onto something. And I just knew it. But even prior to that, like everybody goes, well, how come you're not afraid when you get up there and you speak and you're selling and you're talking and you're doing what you're doing on air? And I said, well, aren't we all acting in this life to get through it? And not only that, I was really lucky because I used to be on The Young and the Restless. I used to be on Tony Peck's show that we shot in Utah called Hollywood Detective. I was on Moonlighting. I'd done a bunch of national commercials. So what I did is I took everything that I've learned in my life, incorporated into what I was doing on TV, being a model, being in the spotlight, and it just kind of all unfolded.
Now, maybe you remember a failure, some moment in your life that actually prepared you to become who you are, because failure is something that we need to face sooner or later. Do you remember one instance in which you felt that you were failing and you used it in order to come back stronger?
Many. Many, many, many people saying, no, 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 no. Are you crazy? And that made me feel for that moment like, you don't get it? You don't understand this? And I just would like go, am I a failure? Does that mean that I am not as good as I want to be or I strive to be? You know, I would question myself, but I would, again, pop right out of it and go, no, I don't believe that. You know, that's their agreement. They bought into that agreement. They bought into that fear. Why should I think that way? That doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to be a success and you're going to do something and you want to go somewhere, you have to think different. You have to act different. You have to eat it. You have to drink it. You have to sleep it. So any of you out there who are listening to this podcast today on ComoLoHizo, you just have to know you can make a difference. You can be that person. You can have what you want. You just put the passion in and tell the truth. That was another thing my mother said. Tell the truth and make sure women can afford it. So I was bringing a Beverly Hills product at an everyday affordable price. You know, you just have to think these things out. It's just like with what you do. What a wonderful man you are and the difference you make in your wonderful wife, Amelia. You know, we're here to serve. And when you serve people and you serve yourself, you're serving God.
Now, in your experience, because I know you've seen this, what's the main mistakes, or some of them, that the other entrepreneurs do and why they fail?
You know what? I really don't think anybody really makes a mistake. I think at the end of the day, what happens is we just went down the wrong street. You got to make a U-turn and come back around, and you have to say, whoops, I fell in that hole. I got to pick myself out of that hole and move forward. Now, if you are depressed and you stay in that hole, just remember, well, the weather will change tomorrow. Change the channel. And I've been this kind of person as a kid. Like I would always think, well, that didn't work. But I really believe this. Maybe I need to go about it this way. Switch. So any of the entrepreneurs out there, let your mistakes be your wins and your wins be your losses and vice versa. Because it all kind of works out. It's like, I'm here just to say that I've had good, bad, and the ugly. I've had indifferences. I've had success to the highest level. I've had people tell me, you know, when I was a model, you're ugly. You know, I've had people, and I go, that's an opinion. And I guess an opinion is like, I'm going to say this on air. An opinion is like an ass. Everybody's got one and some stink. So you just have to remember that. You know, just know what you're dealing with and listen to who is talking to you. Most people who are giving you advice, I'm like, ooh, what did you do? I want to learn from the best of the best, you know, and I'm always listening. You know who taught me everything? A lot of it, my clients. They have great stories. And when you're talking to them and you touch their head, they speak truth. Because remember when you were a little kid, if you ever fell or hurt yourself, what was the first thing Mama did? Ay, mijo, it's okay. She would touch your head. So as soon as you start touching the heads of your male clients or your women clients, they speak truth. They're talking to you out of their truth. So you start to learn we're all so similar. We're all the same. You know, everybody's story is maybe different, but we all come from the same place. And if you come from love, like I said, and you have God in your heart, there are no failures. And any of you entrepreneurs out there, you know, you're going to have people tell you, oh, you don't have a great work ethic, or you don't have this. But you know what? You don't believe that you have to work that hard. And you know what? You could make it still.
So your success, how much of it you think is a matter of luck, and how much you think is a matter of effort and, you know, resilience and all the qualities that you were talking about?
Oh my gosh, it's all about consistency. You just have to just be consistent. You got to show up. You got to make it happen. You can't just sit there, talk about, oh, if I could have, should have, would have, but didn't. No. You got to do it. There are days when I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm not feeling it today. But then what I do is I listen to my tapes on Louise Hay, you know, how to love and approve of yourself. I listen to them every day before I start my day. And every night before I go to bed, I'm programming wonderful, beautiful thoughts. And I was always like this spiritual kid when I was little. You know, I would always ask my mom why. And I just knew that there was a power so much bigger than everything even I know or anything that I've learned or I've seen. And I know that by starting my day off like that, that I can face the world no matter what's happening. And again, there are some days when I'll have a door slammed in my face. There's some days with my employees, I'm fighting with them. There's some days I talk to them and I have to repeat myself 10 times a day, and they're like, will fight me back. And then there's sometimes I'm just like, everything just works. And then I have to say, love you guys.
Do you have a person that you admire the most in your life?
Yes. God.